Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Jones, and today I'm going to be showing you a revolutionary new trading tool that empowers anyone to be able to create and backtest trading strategies without any programming knowledge whatsoever. It's all done through a drag and drop technology. There's no language to learn, there's no programming required at all. You can create and backtest all types of strategies through quantum charts through a drag and drop process. This is brand new technology. No one else has it. None of the big brokerages offer it. None of the other trading platforms have it. This is the only one that can do what this does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate a couple of very simple strategies to introduce you to the product. I don't want to just give you everything that it can possibly do, because it's a lot, and believe me, it will blow your mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it pretty simple for this introductory video, and you can go to the website and you can look at other videos where I get in more in depth into the different types of strategies that you can create and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this daily bar chart of the S&P, and I'm going to show you a strategy, a very simple strategy that has outperformed a buy and hold in the S&P since 1982, and it only holds a trade for about 9 days out of the year. It's actually about a one-day trade, and it's put on about 9 times on average every year. So the market exposure is dramatically lower, while the return is actually a little bit better than a buy and hold since 1982. So obviously it's something that you should consider taking advantage of, and it's very, very simple, and you can duplicate it in literally seconds using quantum charts. Okay, so what we have here is we have a daily bar chart of the S&P, and when I click on a bar, it turns the bar blue, and then it provides true conditions that exist for this particular bar. So for example, here we have the close is less than the open, and that's the first condition that is shown. The close is less than the open. We have a close is less than the previous close, and that's the second one shown. I can go here and it will change the conditions. Close is greater than the previous high. You can see that that's true. If I click on that one, it's going to show us the same conditions, and then you can go to look at more complex conditions. So for example, on this particular bar, the close is less than the lowest close for the last 18 bars. Now it would take you quite a bit of time for you to go back and count all of those bars in order to figure this out, but it does it instantaneously for you. Then there's some time conditions. For example, on the daily bar chart, this is a Thursday, the month is 10, the week is 1, the day is 1. So it's going to give us the time conditions that exist for each of these bars as well when we click on them. Now, the purpose of all of these conditions being listed is to allow us to very easily research the conditions and find out what happens in the market when these conditions occur. And I can put one, I can research one, or I can research a group. So there's really no limitation here what I can do, but it's very simple. All you have to do is open up a strategy box, and you take that, whatever condition that you want to test out, and you drag it into that strategy box. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say next day is 2. Now what that says is that the next day of the month is the second day of the month. And if I were to click on the run, it's going to go and show us, it's going to highlight every every first day of the month, and that's because the next day is the second. So it's going to show me where this statement is true on the bar. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first calendar day of the month, because there's an interesting little phenomenon that occurs on the first calendar day of the month. And in order to do that, all I have to do, I don't have to go and click on another bar and get another group of conditions. All I have to do is click on the condition I want, drag it in here, and then change the property if it's not looking at what I want to look at. And I'll change that from 2 to 1 through the properties box, and then what it does is it changes it in the strategy box. So now I'm going to click on Run, and what it's going to do is it's going to go back and it's going to show me every occurrence where the next bar, the next day, is the first calendar day. Okay, if I go here to the chart, it's going to highlight, as you can see, all of these yellow shaded bars are where the next day is the first calendar day. So on this particular one, it's 6/30 of 2005. The next day is 7/1 of 2005. Here is 7/29 of 2005. The next bar is 8/1. So why is it highlighting this day instead of the 8/1? Well, I said I wanted it to highlight. If this did not have the word next to it, it would highlight the first calendar day. But what I want to do is I want to find out what happens in the market from the last trading day to the first calendar day. So I want to find out whether the market closes higher on the first calendar day or lower. If it closes higher, by how much more of the time does it close higher, by what degree, etc., etc. So that's what I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for market movement statistics. Market movement is very, very important in order for you to uncover profitable trading opportunities. So where are those found? Those are found in the analysis section. Now this may seem a little overwhelming at first because there's a lot of statistics in here, but it's very, very logically laid out. Just give it a few minutes. It'll make much more sense. I'm not going to cover these in this video extensively. I'm just going to cover the highlights. It'll be very obvious to you what we're looking for, and then as you learn more about the program, you can learn more about these stats and how important they are. It's all logical, so if you have that ability, certainly you'll catch on quickly. If logic is not one of your strong suits, you'll still catch on. Trust me on this. So what we have here is bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, etc. These are bars. As you can see, I'll go back to the highlighted ones. Bar 1 is this bar, the first bar after the occurrence bar. Okay, bar 2 is obviously 2 bars after the occurrence bar, and bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, etc., etc. Okay, so we have those listed out here. We have the closes divided by higher closes and lower closes. So on bar 1, the first calendar day of the month has closed higher 71% of the time. It is closed lower only 29% of the time. So 152 times it's closed higher, 62 times it's closed lower. Here the average close higher gives you the degree that the market has moved higher. 9.13 points has been the average close higher when it has in fact closed higher. When it's closed lower, it's only closed lower by 7.2 points. So not only do we have an advantage as far as probability of move direction is concerned, but in the degree that the market moves higher is greater than the degree that the market moves lower. So you can see if you hang on to another day, 73% of the time the market is higher now, not from bar 1 but from the occurrence bar, and then by the time you get to bar 3, bar 4, it drops off a little bit. So this is only a 1 to 2 day trade where you get most of the action, but if you want, you can hang on to the trade and you can see that the average close is generally higher, so you can have an opportunity for a larger profit potential. Nonetheless, that's what these stats are telling you as a general rule. Now, there are some other stats in here. I'm not going to go over these. They are very, very fascinating stats. They let me know exactly where I want to place a stop and exactly where I want to place my target. They let me know how long I want to hang on to the trade. This one, again, the best opportunity is within the first 2 days. After that, the stats are not quite as stellar. So it gives me the length of trade. So this market movement stats, no one else shows this. No one else shows this. None of the other trading platforms, none of the other system development platforms show this. Very, very important information. Okay, that's how easy it is to uncover a strategy using this program. Now, I'm going to show you another one in the Euro USD. This is a Forex market. This is a 30-minute bar chart. Okay, now seasonals work in the S&P. I've got a ton of S&P strategies that use both seasonals and just price patterns. I have a moving average on here. As you can see, it provides conditions for moving averages as well. But I want to stick with price action again. I want to keep it as simple as possible for you to grasp everything that we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on another strategy box, and as you can see here, I can click on any of these bars. It's going to give me some conditions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say close is, I want to look at when the close is greater than the previous high, and I want to look at that as we're moving into the Sydney Open. The Sydney Exchange is the first one to open during the day, and what I want to see is I want to see what happens at the open of the Sydney Exchange when the market has been moving higher going into the Sydney Exchange. So we have the world closing on one end and opening on the other, and so that's it's a very significant time period. So I go to the time, intraday. Time is 9. Now it actually opens at 1700 Eastern, so I'm going to go there and I'm going to my properties box and I'm going to change that to 1630. And the reason I'm changing it to 1630 is because the 1630 bar actually closes at 1700. So I'm going to get to see market action starting at 1700 and moving forward. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. Is it closes greater than the previous high on the 1630 bar. What happens in the Euro USD in this particular situation? And this is what happens. 72% of the time, within an hour and a half, these bars are now 30-minute bars. So bar 1 is 30 minutes after 1700. It's at 1730. This is the close of the 1730 bar. Bar 2 is the close of the 1800 bar. Bar 3 is the close of the 1830 bar. So within an hour and a half, 72% of the time, the Euro USD has moved down after the Sydney Open if the market had moved up going into that open. Okay, so again, a very, very solid opportunity, quickly uncovered. How fast did it take me to drag and drop these things in there? Now, obviously, it's going to take longer to research from scratch because you don't know, you're not coming into this with any preconceived ideas. But you can go through iterations and variations so fast, just literally hundreds and hundreds. You sit down for an hour and you've gained more knowledge about the markets than you've probably gained in the last several years because of these market movement stats. You begin to understand better how the market moves. Seasonals and time play a huge role in virtually every market, and this program proves it out. So now, if I wanted to, I could, I'm just going to show you this real quickly. If I wanted to create a 2-bar pattern, it's very, very simple. I click on an icon, it creates a new group. Any conditions in group 1 have to be true on one bar. Any conditions in group 2 have to be true on a subsequent bar. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, the close has to be greater than the previous high for 2 bars in a row. Now, this within this little line right here lets us know, or lets the program know, how quickly we want these second set of conditions to occur within the first group. If I say 0, it can happen at any time after the first group of conditions occur. If I want to limit it, I go to my properties box, I click on the bar count and change it to 1. Now what this says is that this has to happen immediately on the next bar. So I have 2 consecutive bars where the close has to be greater than the high. So on the first bar, the market didn't actually move down. The first bar after this particular bar, the market didn't move down. I'm saying, what if it moves up? Then what? and I click on the run button, and immediately it's going to tell me what happens when there are 2 bars in a row. And as you can see, it takes a little longer for the stats to reach 70%, but it's pretty good, 67% with an hour. It is still down from this second bar. Okay, within 3 hours it's down 71% of the time. So I can quickly create a multi-bar strategy. I can go ahead, if I wanted to, add another group. Okay, what happens when the market moves down on the 3rd bar? And now I have a 3-bar pattern. And so you can just go hog wild with this thing, but that's all I'm going to show you right now. I have more videos on the website. There's a lot of information. There are reports on the website. So there's a free trial available on the website if you want to go ahead and order and download your copy and get working with this immediately. You can do that as well. So visit our website, take some time, go through the material. Not only do you have the ability now to research out strategies and ideas and just play with it. You don't even have to come in with a